Live.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Shut everything down that we don't need to have on. Helps a lot. So here we go.
Oh, I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a strip show, dance show.
Work there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Live.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, are some people black on the inside, and what the Rat Pack's favorite song to dance to is, and why doctors don't want you to read their notes, and who is creating a new vending machine for lunch on the go. All this and much, much more will be discussed here on Deacon Live. How are you? How are things? How are things going? Are you doing okay? Hold on one sec. As you can tell, there we go. I think I got it out of my system now. Well, how are you? How are things? How are things going? Are you doing all right? I apologize for last week. I skipped a week. I know it's getting a little bit more frequent, but I apologize. We had a horrible thing that happened here on the property, a tragedy here on the property, and I had to take care of it and fix it and do a whole bunch of stuff that took several days to get everything fixed and back in order. And I'll dive into that here later on in the show. But how are you? How are you doing? That's all I care about right now is how you're doing. And I apologize for skipping out last week. But once you hear the story that what happens, you will understand. And hopefully we can continue on and everything will be hunky-dory. Now, for those of you who don't know, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. And since the pandemic, when was that? What year was that? 2019? Yeah, COVID-19, right? 2019, somewhere around there. I go to the doctor regularly. I go once a year for my physical. I get my teeth cleaned all the time religiously. Insurance plan allows me to have at least 3 cleanings a year, so on and so forth. So we have great insurance here on the property. And the last time I went to see my nurse practitioner, because I can't get in there to see the actual doctor, so I get the nurse practitioner all the time, and her name's Jennifer. And she's a little bit of a granola. She rides one of those people here in North Carolina that put the helmet on and get out there and ride 58 miles on the highway on a bicycle. You know, those type of people that travel in the groups, if you've ever seen them before. Looks like the Tour de France flying by you. Well, she's one of these people. So she's all health conscious, and she's probably a blue state. So her ideas and values are a little bit different than mine. And that's fine. I mean, everyone each to his own. But when you start pushing those ideas and beliefs on me, then I have an issue, because you're basically telling me that I am wrong and you are right. But I am right for my situation, and you are wrong for your situation for me. That type thing. Not that she's wrong, but anyways, I'm getting out of control here on this. Well, hold on. Let me just say that, her ideas and philosophies don't fit into my ideas and philosophies as far as my plan in life of where I want to go. And her plan in life is what she wants to do is not beneficial for me. Two different ideas, 2 different concepts of how we should be. Just don't force it on each other. I know we promise not to get political, but this is what's happening right now. So if you listen to the show about 2 years ago, she actually, during the pandemic, when it first started out and we didn't know anything about it, she asked me if I was going to get my COVID shot. Now this is in limbo. So between us, mandatory mask, it was volunteer at the time, and a mandatory mask. So I was in that limbo. They said COVID-19 is coming out. I think they just shut down the NBA. I think they shut down a couple other sporting events, and I got my doctor's appointment in there right at that little cusp. And she asked me if I was going to get my COVID shot. And I said, I wasn't planning on it, or a booster shot or whatever, but just a regular COVID shot. And I said, no, not really. And, you're sitting on the paper mat. And she jumped up out of the chair and basically not got in my face, but got rough with me and said, why not? There's people dying out there. You should get your COVID shot. So it kind of set me off a little bit. I already knew she, had a couple, not things wrong with her. She just has a different idea of what's going on than I do. So fast forward to now. Now the masks are off. We're allowed to move around. Everyone's gotten their shots. Everyone's got their boosters that wanted them and all that. I still, to this day, have not gotten a COVID shot. I have not gotten a COVID shot. I have not gotten a booster shot. Now my wife, she kind of tiptoes the line between what I believe and what she believes. And to some points, it's like a 52-48, 52 what she wants to believe, 48 of what I believe, which is fine. That's the way a marriage should work. You should have someone that challenges you at some times. If you have someone that agrees with you all the time, then life's not fun. So my wife, she got the COVID shot because of her job. She deals with a lot of people. Now, granted, she's been working home since the pandemic, but there's always that they have to go back into the office, and she deals with 200 and some odd plus people every day. So not mandatory. They recommended that she get a shot. So she got a shot. She got a booster. Everything's good on her end. And I have not. I have not got anything. But I think by proxy, I should be immune. You know what I mean? So now I have been dealing with issues in the last, 2022? So now I've been dealing with issues for the last 2.5 years that have come up because I have not scheduled an appointment with the doctors or anything like that. And so now that we're able to be released back in society, you guys have behaved. You've done your time out sitting at home. Now we'll let you go back out and play again. So they released us out and we're allowed to do what we want. And the mandatories, they just dropped here in North Carolina. They just dropped the mandatory mask mandates for any government offices, I think about 3 months ago. So I said, you know what? It's time for me to go back in and get my physical done because I haven't had it done in 2 years and such. And in the process, some things have happened with me. So I said, back in August, I tried to fill out the form to say, or online, everything's online. So I tried to get an appointment and they said, there's no appointment until, March of next year. All right. So I called the hospital and they said, well, we can put you on a waiting list. All right. And it's about 3 months, a 3 months waiting list to get to see anyone, the doctor or the nurse practitioner. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, yeah, put me on the waiting list. I just want a general physical and I've got a couple questions to ask. So now November has come almost gone. It's Thanksgiving next week. Jesus Christ. And I have not heard from the hospital or the doctor's office. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go online and go ahead and physically apply for an appointment. So I look on there and I see the doctor's not available all year long for physicals. I'm like, well, shit. All right, now I got to go to his nurse practitioner. Of course, Jennifer's still there. And her first appointment, just for a regular physical, is not till July of next year. I said, all right, well, I'll fill that out. And then here's where it gets kind of interesting. In the box, it says, do you have any concerns and stuff you'd like to discuss with Jennifer? I said, well, yeah, I'd like to discuss some stuff. Last time I was in, we talked about my degenerated disc that is in my spine. She sent me to a specialist, Heckle and Jekyll, 2 frack bros. Have no confidence in them at all. They wanted to stick me with needles and stuff without even looking at me. So I basically, waved them. I'm not doing that appointment. I went to the appointment and I just said I'm not going with them. And then like some other things like, you always hear about men who urinate frequently during the night. And I'm like, well, that's starting to happen a little bit more. And there's other issues that are going on that's related to my back. I don't know if it's that lower region going on, but I said, I want this and, I want to check this out. And another thing I said is I've become more scatterbrains. I don't know if you can tell by me talking here on the podcast, but I became more scatterbrains when I'm not when I'm sitting down or doing something. I saw a video the other day on TikTok that kind of described my actual, not what I'm going through, but what's happened is they call it ADD or something, ADHD paralysis, where you've got all this stuff going on in your head and you know that you need to get it done. But the best way to approach it is to just sit there in a position watching TV or doing something minute, because your body is so I don't know what to call it, but you know that you've got all these different things that you need to do, but your body physically doesn't want to do it, because your body knows that if you start doing it, it's going to cause grief, anxiety, mayhem down the line when you start attacking these projects, because you have no way to organize them in your head. So it's called ADHD paralysis. And, I'm talking to my wife, hey, I signed up for the thing. I put all this stuff in the comments and stuff. And within 2 weeks of me putting that in, I had the actual hospital call me, or the doctor's office. I say it's a hospital because it's a 4-story building and people are going there. If they're pregnant, they go in there for cancer treatment. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And there's a practicing doctor in the North Carolina healthcare system in that building. And I get a girl on the phone, black woman. I could tell, it's a black woman. You can tell the speech pattern. Mr. Deacon, you have an appointment with Jennifer back in coming up on, I don't know why I sound Southern, but anyway, so you got an appointment with Jennifer you signed up for for July, and that's the appointment you chose? I'm like, yep. And this other stuff that's in the comments, you want to wait all the way to July to have Jennifer look at you? I'm like going, well, you know what? I was on your waiting list for a long time and nothing happened. So I figured, what's another 6 months? Oh, honey, let's see. Can you come in? Let me look. Can you come in November 21st at 11:30? I said, yes, I can. And that's next Monday. And I said, yeah, sure. Yeah, I sure can. Oh, honey, we'll get you all taken care of, and I'll let Jennifer know all this other stuff that you got written down. Not that I wrote a whole bunch of stuff like I'm dying, I'm bleeding out my kidneys, or, my back I'm crippled and I can't move or anything like that. But, there are some issues that compounded with having, bad back. Everyone out there in the world, I think 85% of the world has back issues of some sort, if not just in the United States. And so I was like, all right, cool. And I told my wife this. She's like, oh, imagine that. A normal physical, healthy male, whatever, they'll push you down the line. But how are they going to know if you're a healthy male if you don't get your physical, and then your physical stems all these other problems? And, that's the time that you want to talk to someone. So I told him I had all these different minute issues. To me, they're minute because I've been dealing with them for the last couple of years. And so now on their end, let's get you in. Let's get you all served up and on a platter and get you taken care of, because you got good insurance, honey. You got good insurance, and we want to get every dollar of that insurance. And it's not that, but I guess the stuff that I wrote was a little bit more red flag than anything. All right, guys, I got a big show to get into, and I'll discuss what happened here on the household on the French that we have here. Big tragedy that happened, and we're still dealing with it right now. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. So difficult. Everything's so difficult. Welcome back to Deacon Live. We'd like to hear from you, and the way you can be part of the show is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on the Be Heard section. It's a little blue bar. I'm not sure where it shows up on your page. It's kind of like one of those floating things on the Prophet Radio website. Click on that. Opens up a microphone on whatever you're listening to us on, whether it be a tablet, phone, or your PC that you got sitting in the house, laptop as well. Just make sure you activate your microphone. And believe me, I got nothing. I don't have enough technology to sit there and hack you or do anything like that. It's just me sitting in the studio talking to you guys about what's going on here in the news and in my life as well. And we'll be a little bit more funnier later on. Don't worry. I'll kick up the funny here in a little bit. And the news articles that you missed throughout the week. And leave us a message through that Be Heard app, the section on our website. It comes right to our inbox, and we'll play it on this podcast if you get it in soon enough, or the very next podcast as well. You can ask me anything. You can say anything you like. You can be anonymous if you like. We would just like to hear from you as well. Now, I was talking about going to the doctors, and one of the things that I've been pushing off as well, not pushing off, it's just time scheduling and stuff, is going to the dentist. I love going to the dentist. I know people go, what are you, nutso? Yes. No, I love going to the dentist because it's relaxing. My dentist office, they got a real nice chair. Everyone's nice and friendly there. Everyone calls you by your name. They get you whatever you need. Sounds like a bar, doesn't it? But everyone's nice there. Everyone's real patient there, and they know what they're doing. There's some dentist office that I've been throughout my life. You're just like, they're trying to turn and burn, or you can tell that the staff, I think that's the main thing. You can tell that the staff is not happy with what's going on in the building. So when you have staff members that are unhappy, they're more likely to take it out on your teeth. So your average cleaning that takes, 30 minutes to an hour, depending on, how bad your chompers are, they'll take it out on you. Oh, I'm sorry. Did that hurt? Did that hurt, Mr. Deacon? Here you go. Let me fix that. Oh, you're bleeding now. Look at you. Saying I can't take a 30-minute lunch and, I got to pick up my kid, just all that stuff. The office, a well-organized office with all the members, all the staff and everything are happy, makes for a happy experience in a dental office as well. Now, something else that's making dental offices visits a little bit more happier is dentists are now seeing patients showing up to the dentist office high as hell. November 8th, 2022, this article comes out. 4 in 10 dental patients, or 2/5, reported using marijuana, and their dentist offices or dentists are noticing. Half of the dentists say patients show up to their appointments high on marijuana or another drug. That's according to the survey results released this month by the American Dental Association. For some patients, that means delaying getting a cavity filled until they are sober. For real? I mean, how many times I know people that are scared to go to the dentist office, they take Papa Xanax or do something like that. Now, granted, you don't want to sit at the bar for 2 hours before your dentist appointment. That would not make any sense. When walking through health histories, more patients tell us that they use marijuana regularly because it is, quote, now legal. Unfortunately, sometimes marijuana in your system results in needing an additional visit because of the condition that you're in. 5 states are considering a ballot measure that would legalize marijuana, which could bring the number of total states with legal recreational marijuana to 24, plus Washington, D.C. Medical marijuana is legal in 37 states, also Washington, D.C. So the surveys were done earlier this year and tallied responses from 557 dentists and 1,000 some odd customers. Among the dentists, 56% they would limit treatment to patients who are high, and 46% said that they had to increase the anesthesia during the visit because of how the drug impacts the system. So if you're going in there to have some dental work done and they give you like Novocaine and they give you a little squirt, and then they come back, you're like, you're numb, and you're like, nope. You know why? Because I'm high as hell. Marijuana can lead to an increase of anxiety, paranoia, and hyperactivity, which could make the visit more stressful. Really? If they're coming down the tail end of it, maybe. It can also increase the heart rate and unwanted respiratory side effects, which increases the risk of using local anesthesia for pain control. Plus, the treatment options are always ones that the dentist and patients should decide on together. Hey, Doc, I'm getting a tooth filled. Do you mind if I come in high? Nope, bring me some. All right, cool. And the dentist says you always need a clear head for that. Now, hold on a minute, because there are some places that offer dental sedation, and where they like give you a little bit of a relaxing little calm the fuck out juice, whether it be through like nitrous oxide or something like that. But there are sedative dentistry places that actually help you relax and stuff. So I wonder what they're using. And if you've ever had that done before, please let us know. Go over to profitradio.com, click on Be Heard, and let us know if you've ever been through that and what the process is. Now, I just got done telling you that I'm getting ready to go back to the doctor's office. I got to turn this off. It's going to sit here and vibrate and blink and pink all day. My phone, sorry. Then I'm going to the dentist's office, or not dentist, I'm sorry, the doctor's office. I'm getting my normal routine physical. So that means what? Blood pressure. They look at your eyeballs. They look at your ear holes. They do, they listen to your heart. They do your blood pressure. And at my age, they do the little finger wave. And I think I'm coming up on getting the old, the probe, the purple juice that I got to drink. I think I'm getting to that age where I think that's coming around the corner here. But I've seen where studies have shown that even doing that doesn't help catch pancreatic cancer or colon cancer or anything like that. It's basically, it can come at any time. So doing that, I think they said that it's, I forget what the ratio was, but they said it's literally a waste of time. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it. Now, granted, they can catch it early, but there are also other ways to go about that rather than doing a roto-rooter through your butthole looking at this stuff. So I think the article basically says, even with people who get regular colonoscopies and stuff, they have gotten cancer and they've missed it somehow. So I don't know if you're too tight in there or they can't see it or whatever. But something right now that a lot of people wish they could see is what your doctor is actually saying about you personally. I wonder what my doctor wrote down in her notes when she popped up and I said, after I said, I'm not getting I didn't say like stand my ground, like I'm not getting my COVID-19 virus. I'm not getting the shot. But I wish I would have wrote down, jumped up off a stool and what do they call it? Where you puff up a little bit, puffed up at me, asking me why not. Well, there's a program out there right now that's called Open Notes. Well, that's what the actual legislation is called. It's a new law that was passed back in April of 2021. This new federal law went into effect, mandating that patients have the legal right to freely electronically access most kinds of notes that are written about them by their doctors. This, like I said, this process is called Open Notes. Doctors say a majority of their patients have no clue that this actually even exists. If you don't know about the law, you are likely to know about it. If you do know about the law, you are likely to know about it. That is typically because your doctor, one who has to navigate an era of transparency in medicine, or you're someone who also knows a doctor who a patient has become, familiar with the country's health system for one reason or another. When Open Notes went into effect, the change was looked down upon by advocates as part of a greater push towards patients' autonomy and away from medical gatekeeping. So they don't want you to know, you're going to die at the end of the page. You will die in 2 years. You don't want to see that at the end of the thing, at the end of your page. Previously, hospitals could charge up to hundreds of dollars to release records if they release them at all. Many doctors, meanwhile, have been far from thrilled about Open Notes program. They have argued that this rule will introduce more challenges than benefits for both patients and themselves. At the worst, some have fretted that the law will damage people's trust of doctors and make everyone's lives worse. Okay, so let's dissect that sentence. You go to a doctor because you trust them, right? You trust that this person's got all your best interests in heart. But the doctors, on the other hand, have not an assignment or an agenda, but they know that you're not going to make it, bud. But on what they tell you is, no, you're good. This is a great process. If you got anything going on, 80% success rate or something like that. But, they always leave that gap. But would you want to see your notes? Like if you go to a normal doctor's visit, I'm just talking a doctor's visit. Now, if you've got some kind of long-term health treatment, would you want to see every day's notes sheets? You know, the nurse, she comes in, how you feeling today? You know, I feel good. Lying. Tell me how you're, you know, oh, I feel good, you know, whatever. And, you know, not telling truth or, you know, whatever, dishonest or something like that. Would you want to see those notes in your file? It's kind of like looking up your permanent record. Like when you're in elementary school, this is going in your permanent record and your permanent file. No one ever sees that unless you get arrested and you go to, go to court and they go, oh, Mr. Deacon, you know, at the age of 9, looks like you put chewing gum in Susan's hair. You know, and I'm arrested for, you know, robbing a bank or something. Oh, my God, really? Susan's hair? Darn, I forgot all about it. Well, according to that, you've been a bad apple since 9 years old. Guilty, you know, hang him high or something like that. Would you like to see your doctor's notes? I think I would to a certain point, and maybe will that correct a lot of misdiagnosis, or will that influence or change the way doctors approach you as far as treating you as an individual? If you could see behind that curtain that you sit on the paper table with. All right, guys, stick around. A lot more to get into. Big show still going on. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Well, we'd love to give you something for free just for being part of the show, or just for listening to us, or just being a good all-around person in general. And the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on free swag. Stolen While at Gig is basically where swag came from. I think the acronym can be used in any other place. But anyway, swag, stolen, whatever. We will send you out some swag. Fill out that little form there, and we'll send you out some magnets, some stickers, or anything like that. Believe me, like I said, I don't have enough technology here. I don't have enough time or patience to do anything with your email address other than make sure that you get it in time and all that. If I have any questions, I can email you personally as well. And you can email me personally at any time as well. If you want to send me a picture or anything that you've got going on, email me at any time at deacon@prophetradio.com. There's also a section on the Prophet Radio website where you can send us some pictures and stuff if you've ever had anything to deal with any of the stories that we talk about here on the air. Now, I love barbecue. I love smoking meats here on the property. I like cooking on the grill. I like doing out. I'm a guy. You know, red-blooded American male. I like cooking out on the grill. And Thanksgiving's right around the corner, so my wife does the turkey inside, and sometimes I've done, or several years, I've done a, you know, the oil. We drop the turkey in the oil. I've done that a couple times. I've also smoked a couple turkeys. And so I like smoked meat. And, you know, depending on who you talk to, they say, well, the carcinogens and the smoke get in the turkey, and now it's like smoking a 6-pack of cigarettes, or, you know, a carton of cigarettes, which I'm like, okay, I got it. All right, we're going to die. We're going to die of something. Let's die of really, really good tasting meat. And before Sonny's jumped the shark, and now Sonny's Barbecue is a big place down in Florida. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, living up here now in Marshville, where we broadcast from, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I would go there. I always said that I would buy my own Sonny's just to eat at Sonny's. Now, this is before they started doing the dry rub. And when they started doing the dry rub, they started getting a little bit more commercial. The product and the whole thing went downhill. But I know it even says on the barbecue menus, your real good barbecue menus, saying some of the meat that is smoked, or our meat when it's smoked, has a pink hue to it. That's due to being smoked. That's just the process of what. So if you eat like pork ribs, or not chicken, of course. Chicken, you don't want that to be pink on the inside. But like your pork and your meats and stuff like that tend to have a pink hue. Because of the way it's processed, not processed, but the way it's cooked, the processing of it being cooked. This woman right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, you know, you ever heard of North Carolina barbecue? Yes, we're famous for North Carolina barbecue. which is basically a pork butt, and they put it in you slow roast it and you shred it and you put a vinegar-based sauce on top, and that's your North Carolina barbecue. A woman called the police department to report a restaurant serving quote-unquote pink meat, despite the restaurant's assurance that the smoked meat appears pink even when cooked. In a 911 call obtained by WHNS, the woman can be heard saying to the operator, let's see if I can, please tell me they have this recording. Please tell me this is it. Oh, please. I see the video. Hold on. Is this it?
Hours, 54 minutes, 26 seconds.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Yes, can I get an officer at...
Okay, so I'm gonna play the. I actually have the 911 here, so that would be great. So the woman can be heard saying, they're saying that the meat here is supposed to be pink. She asked for the police to respond because the restaurant is now not allowing her to trade or return her food. The restaurant, Clyde's Cooper Barbecue, which sounds like you want someone's name on a barbecue joint. You just want to have like fantastic barbecue. I'm not eating there. But if you have Clyde Cooper's Barbecue Restaurant and home down cooking, you want that. They have been serving in downtown Raleigh since 1938. So this isn't like they just popped up overnight. They've been there since 1938. I'm sure Clyde Cooper's the son of Clyde Cooper Sr., and so on and so forth. This is one of those family traditions. And they went on social media to share their side of the story. Two images shared by Clyde Cooper's Barbecue on the Facebook page shows a review from Annie Cook, which says barbecue was very pink and had a lot of fat in it. Tried to go back and tell them I either want my money back or something else. They refused to do either. After I called the cops up there, they gave me one piece of chicken in a bag and said, keep the plate. The cops said I had to file a civil lawsuit with the court. So that's Annie Cook. That's her statement. The image shows shows the owner's response saying, it's extremely laughable and sad if you think about the issues to call cops over. He took the cops time that might have been needed for an important call to complain about the barbecue was smoking pink meat. Furthermore, you were given a chicken plate to replace your barbecue, and you were told to keep everything perfectly good. Barbecue thought you could keep perfectly good barbecue you thought was raw, and you are also ignorant to the fact. Oh, there we go. That's what got everything fired up. You called her ignorant. You're ignorant to the fact that barbecue turns pink when you smoke it, and you wouldn't listen to us trying to explain it to you. You were given the chicken before you left, and then you called the cop. All right, so let's listen to the 911 call, and then let's see what else we can find here. So hopefully this will be loud enough for everyone can hear. And let's turn that up full blast. So here we go. 911 call.
Clyde Cooper and Barbecue.
All right, repeat the address for me.
It's Clyde Cooper and Barbecue on Wilmington Street.
Let's see.
Typing it in.
I'm not finding that business name in our system. I'm going to need an address.
It's on South Wilmington Street in downtown by the PNC Plaza parking.
All right, do you know what the nearest cross street is to South Wilmington?
It's all by Fayetteville Street. So it's close to Fayetteville Street.
She don't even know where she's at.
Let's see. All right, what is your name?
My name is...
And the phone number you're calling from? Tell me exactly what happened.
Yes, I had ordered some food from there, and the barbecue is pink, and I asked for either for them to cook it some more or exchange my order, and they're saying that the meat is supposed to be pink, and I asked for them to change my order, so they said...
So she first said, I don't know if you caught that, I asked for them to cook it some more, and then I asked to exchange it. If I was dealing with a customer, I would have taken whatever, ribs, chicken, whatever she got, Cook it some more. All right, here we go. Open up the grill top, slap that thing right on the grill. Go ahead and put some char marks on it. Get that meat. I don't know if you're going to change it from pink. It will get, your traditional rare, medium rare flavor or color to it, but then you're ruining the meat. Maybe she wants jerky. Maybe she wants beef jerky is what she wants.
They're not giving my money back, or they're not going to trade out the food.
Okay.
Operator's over it. Okay, here we go. Type it away.
And there's no sign where it says that they don't trade out foods or anything, no returns or anything like that.
They also say that...
I've asked them, do they have a sign where it says there's no returns or anything?
It's not like Walmart, dear. Nobody returns food.
All right, and are you just standing outside there?
Yes, I'm right here outside. I had put my food right here on the counter.
All right, and just what color clothing are you wearing?
It's a red and black and white jacket.
What are you wearing so we don't tase you?
Okay, I got to call in. We're going to get it out there as soon as we can, okay?
All right, thank you.
So you got to call out. We'll get someone out there as soon as possible. The Raleigh Police Department responded to the historical restaurant on Tuesday after a woman called 911, and basically they rolled up with like a smirk on their face and saying, all right, what's the problem? I would have said if I was a cop, hold on one sec there. Can I go ahead and put a to-go order? Because this isn't going to take long. Yeah, my wife loves this place. I don't get on this side of town too much. Let me get the chicken. What did you have, dear? Annie Cook, what'd you have? The chicken plate special? Yeah, let me get what she had and the ribs and the barbecue pulled pork sandwich, and I'll get that to go. I'm sure they would have given it to him right away. Yes, no problem. Here you go. And look, he pulls a rib out and starts eating it right in front of her. It looks good to me. Now, we are also talking about, I'm going to the dentist. I have to, getting into the new year is basically what's happening here. This is what stemmed all this stuff. My wife's signing me up for all the new enrollment for insurance. So we got to make sure, do you still want vision? Do you still want this? Do you still want that? Yes, I want all this stuff. Not necessarily keep me alive, just keep me sane until that time comes. And comfortable at the same time. So we're getting, I'm going back to the dentist's office. I'm getting all my appointments ready for the next year. A lot of you people out there will do that. You make all your doctor's appointments. Women will make all their gynecologist appointment throughout the year ahead of time, because a lot of times it takes a long time to get in there. Now, this TikToker right here has alerted many people of the fact that your bones sometimes change inside of you. Now, of course, as we get older, they say after the age of 30, you lose about a half inch for every 10 years that you exist on this planet after that. So let's say if you're 6 foot tall at 30 years old, at 40 years old, you're 5'11" and a half. And then at 50 years old, that's why people could start shrinking and stuff, because your bone and your body interior, it changes. So under certain rare conditions and circumstances, your bones inside actually turn black. A TikToker told a story about his followers that he discovered that he had black bones disease on a trip to the dentist. My bones are black, like bones in my body are black, is what the TikToker says. Someone's going to cut that up and send it to me, I know. And it's because of something that I had called oh, God. Where's my thing? Hold on. I got to get my voice to text here. So let's figure this out. Voice to text. Where is it at? Real voice to text. What is this word? Jesus, they changed. I haven't been here in a while. Delete. How do you say this word? Paste. I'm going to turn it up. So here we go.
Minocycline.
There you go. Minocycline or something like that. or black bones disease. During high school, Archie was given minocycline, a typical antibiotic to treat his acne. Thinking nothing of it, let's face it, when you take medication, you really don't speculate anything like that. But for years, he took it, and it didn't appear to have any side effects. However, when Archie's wisdom teeth came through, he's just a little lad, he immediately noticed a problem. My wisdom tooth came in, and it was black. I was like, oh my God, this is the TikToker saying. And it turned out that my jaw was black, and probably the rest of my skull and most of my bones are too, according to my doctor. As the rest of his Archie's teeth came in, before he had begun using the acne medication, they all remained white. As odd as it may discover that your bones have turned black, are worse ways to find out. One 52-year-old woman has described the case, and she reported it into the medical journal of whatever. Though the surgery was continued because he was getting his wisdom teeth out, they warned other doctors that they should be aware of the condition and potential effects of the, what did I say?
Minocycline.
Yeah, that guy. As opposed to other worrying about the causes of the bone's discoloration. So if you want to see this video, actually, this is him talking on TikTok, where he talks about, I have black bones. So let's see what he has to say.
My bones are black. Like, the bones in my body are black. And it's because I have something called minocycline black bone disease. When I was in middle school and high school, I had really bad acne, and I used a medication to treat it called minocycline. Well, it turns out that minocycline can stain your bones. My skeleton is really cool. So how do you find out that your bones are black? Well, you gotta have exposed bone. My wisdom tooth came in and it was black, and I was like, oh my God, my teeth are rotting. And it turns out that my jaw is black, and probably the rest of my skull, and most of my bones, according to my doctor. My big teeth came in before I started using minocycline, so not affected.
So there you go. And it said the name was Archie, but that sounded like a girl. It might be something else. I don't know. I don't want to dive into that stream just yet. But I remember growing up, one of the first jobs I had was working at Toys R Us, and we had a manager who was pregnant, and she had, walking around and, being pregnant as a manager, and her teeth looked like they were black on the inside. And I think that there was some kind of medication that she was taking that caused the interior of her teeth to turn black or whatever. And I'm like going, God, your teeth are rotten. And then someone said to me, I don't know what the actual medication was, but she was on some kind of medication that turned her teeth from the inside out a different color. Not like brown. I mean, they were black, like gray black. It was weird. Weird. When you're a young male at 18 years old and you're looking at this pregnant woman who actually was trying to hit on me at the time, which was a story in itself, and you're like going, man, she's got black teeth, man. Get away from me. I'm not down like that. All right, guys, stick around. I'll get into the actual tragedy that happened here on the property and what we did and how it came to be. And it's pretty traumatic, especially if you have animals. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social contacts and all your social networks. And the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on social contacts. And yes, we are on TikTok. Yes, we are on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. YouTube as well. For every podcast we do, we have a matching video. You can see me waving to the camera here. Hi, we kind of changed it up here. We've got new cameras, new backgrounds, and all that. And just kind of break it up. The new year, we're going to be changing a lot of stuff around, a little bit of the format, but it'll all be the same true show that you guys have come to love over the last 7 years. So don't worry. You know how we do. Every year we kind of change it up, just keep it new and exciting and up to date with everything that goes on the social media trends. So we're going to start doing that here slowly as we get into the new year. Now, as you guys know, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. And we have a farm and a ranch. It's part farm, part ranch. So we have animals here. We have crops and stuff. Our crops didn't do very well this year. And we've got, horses. We've got chickens. We have all this stuff going on here on the property. And we also have dogs and cats. Well, we're down to, I say down to, like we're taking tally. We have one bulldog. She's a very old lady. Her name's Cookie. And she's probably 12 and a half years old, if that. Slowly, she's got a bad leg, bad hip, and she walks around on the, not the property, but in the house. She sleeps most of the day, but she's got a little strut to her because her hind leg kind of goes on and on. I know. And we also rescued a cat from the Humane Society. And so we went down to the Humane Society, got a cat, took care of it, doing all that stuff. My wife wanted one. I said, fine, no problem. We'll have a cat. We've got enough room in the house for an animal. Went down to the Humane Society and got a not a stray cat, but someone brought a cat in, and her name is Trisket. She's a long-haired calico, and it's just as cute and just as loving as possible. She goes outside when she wants and comes inside. She's got her food and water and litter boxes in the house. But she goes out and plays and, comes in. If you can train a cat to do that, that's great. And to train a cat to do that and stay close to the house and come to you when you call them, that's the main thing. My wife has got this cat trained. She shakes her little treats or goes out there and goes, Trisket, baby, come on inside. And Trisket runs inside. Now we've got a huge property here, so she can be out in the woods, so it might take her a minute or two to get up to the house. But nonetheless, she does come up to the house. Twice now. First time she didn't come up to the house is because she was stuck in a tree 35 feet in the air. And what happened was she got stuck outside and a rogue rainstorm came through. She got scared and ran up a tree 35 feet in the air. I know it's 35 feet because I've got a 24-foot extension ladder, and she was about 10 feet above that. So my wife's freaking out. How do we get this cat out of the tree? Well, luckily we have great neighbors next door, and they've got young sons that can do things that us old people, 30s and 40s can't do. And what that is climb a tree. So we had a tractor. You should have seen this setup. We had a tractor with the bucket. We had the ladder and the bucket and raised the ladder up with the bucket. And then the kid climbed up the tree and then had to climb up the ladder. Climbed up the tractor, climbed up the ladder, and then climbed up the tree to get the cat. He was all strapped in. They do rock climbing and stuff, so he knew what he was doing. Got the cat out of the tree, came back down. Oh, my God. Took it was a 2-hour process, get everything set up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You didn't have to do this. Oh, that's what neighbors are for. And on went about our day. Now, the other day, this is, 6 months ago. So now the other day, something spooked the cat in the yard. There have been these 2 white dogs, rogue dogs from, a house half mile down the road, friendly dogs, big, yellow, white Labrador type dogs. They walk around their property and, get, we don't want you here. Get. So I think these dogs scared our cat because sure enough, my wife goes outside. Come on, Trisket, come inside. Cat won't. No answer, no nothing. It's getting around 3 o'clock. This is time that she needs to come in. Sure enough, she's up in that same goddamn tree in the same goddamn spot. And I said to myself when we got her out the first time, I'm cutting that tree down so she doesn't go up again. Of course, you say that thinking in your mind that's never going to happen. Well, it happened again. But what happened this time is the neighbors weren't home. They weren't available. We didn't have someone, to climb up the tree and, get the ladder out and get the tractor out to get this cat out of the tree again. Plus, even still, at what point does the neighbors go, all right, folks, don't, cut the tree down. We're tired of getting your cats out of the tree. So my wife's freaking out and respectively freaking out. And she's like, well, I'm going to call the fire department to get the cat out of the tree because you see it in the movies, you see it, all that stuff. I go, babe, if they come over, they're going to charge us to take the cat out of the tree. They don't do this for free. at least not that I know of. Now, we broadcast, like I said, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a beautiful town we like to call Marshville. We have a population of about 2,500 people. We do not have our own fire department. We rely on the town next door. And that town next door probably has about 2,000 people. And the town next door to them has about 1,500 people. So you see where I'm going at here? We've got a volunteer, basically a fire department, the main fire department, which is New Salem. And you call the station, nobody's there. There's nobody at the station. My wife called, left a message. Hey, we got a cat stuck on the tree. Can you send a ladder over and get her out? Nothing, no return phone call, no nothing. What was to happen if we were to dial 911? Would everyone who was the volunteer have to rush to that locale, to that ladder, and jump on the truck and then drive to wherever the 911 call came from? Nothing, no returns. I'm sure they probably had like 15 phone calls from 15 different people, So who knows if they're like screening them or just like delete. So my wife and I, with our intelligence and our knowledge and as far as our capabilities, tried to get this cat out of the tree. So it took the 24-foot ladder that I mentioned previously, extended as far up as it could go. My wife's up there with a 2x4 in the tree, trying to create a branch or a pathway for the cat to come over to another tree, which is a little bit more accessible for the cat to run down. The tree that she climbs up literally goes straight up, takes a dog leg left, and then straight up again, and then there's a cradle of branches that she literally just was laying in. It's like 5 branches that kind of pocket it out, and if you were to build a bird nest, that's where it would be. She just sits there, and she's meowing, so she has no way physically to come down, because coming down means ass down first, like coming down a coconut tree, or head down first, which is not going to happen. Gravity's going to get the best of her, and she's going to land on the ground. So I said to my wife, you know what? Either you or I are going to get hurt severely trying to get this cat out of the tree. I said, it's close enough to the other 2 trees. Why don't we do this? If we take a chainsaw, I know everyone's rolling their eyes and going, this is where it starts. If we take a chainsaw and slowly cut the branch and let it fall against that tree, then she has a better, and I'm motioning here, you can watch me on the video, I'm motioning, it would land on the other tree, creating, pardon the pun, a catwalk for her to get off that tree onto another tree and then come down. So for 3 hours we were out there. Now we're working into daylight savings time, so of course here on the property, the sun goes down a little bit quicker. Normally what would have been 6 o'clock broad daylight still is now 6 o'clock and the sun's setting. So we worked on this for 3 hours trying to figure out what we're going to do with this cat, how to get it out of the tree. So we started doing the cutting. The tree actually, fast forward, the branch actually fell exactly where I wanted to. Bam, landed on the other tree. She had a nice, 7-degree decline to come down, and then we could get her. She didn't want to come down. She's still scared and pissing and shitting in the tree. She's scared. Yeah. She peed it while she was in the tree. My wife's up there goes, I think the cat's peeing because it's scared. She's up on the top of a ladder. So I said, well, let's get a strap and kind of wiggle the tree, the branch, because it's still attached to the main trunk. Let's wiggle the tree branch and see if we can get her to shake her to get her to come down. So I get a big tow rope and I throw it up there. Got a carabiner, a hook, throw it up there with a shackle. Got it. I'm wiggling it, pull, just lightly pulling, just enough to wiggle the branches and a couple leaves fall. And she's not coming down. She starts coming down, turns around, and goes back up again. I'm like, God damn it. The sun's setting, literally sun setting in the background. I'm wiggling this thing. I'm on the ground. I've got this, 30-foot rope, this 30-foot pull strap tied to this branch, and I'm wiggling, I'm pulling. The tree is an oak tree, so it's on hard wood. It's not a pine or anything like that, so there's no flexibility. It's hard. So the cut that I made to get the branch to fall, it's still connected to the main trunk. I say trunk. The trunk where I cut it from is about 20 feet in the air. So I'm pulling out. Sure enough, the worst thing happened. My wife's standing on one side of the fence. I'm standing on the other side of the fence, way clear of the branch. I pull the branch just one more time, one more snug tug. The branch snaps and comes down. You know, it's already from 30 feet. It's probably sitting at about 20 feet right now. Comes straight down, smashes on the fence. And we have a rail fence. Cat hits the ground, takes off running. I'm like, great. She's off running. My wife goes, no, she's not. She's running. She's limping. Goes over there. Sure enough, her right front paw is completely smashed, shattered somehow. Take her to the emergency room. The emergency room goes, we can splint it and do all that stuff. And then, and then she can bring her home. I was like, all right, babe, go. This is 7:30 at night now. We've been out there since 3 o'clock, if not 2:30. I said, go to the emergency room. So she goes to the emergency room. They splint her and do all that stuff. And they said, okay, you have options. And I'm going to take a quick little break. And when I come back, I'll give you the options that the emergency room and a second opinion gave us as well. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on social contacts while you're there. Get yourself something for free. Fill out that little form there. Believe me, I got enough shit going on here, as you guys can hear, to do anything with your email address other than to make sure that you got your product safe and sound at your house or location. And make sure we'd like to hear from you as well. Go over to Be Heard and leave us a message. We'll play it on the very next podcast as well. So cat comes down out of the tree, hits the ground, takes off running, scared shitless. My wife's like, oh my God, come here, come here. Meanwhile, the branch has split a lot of the fence. Now, the fence that we have is a 2x8, 2x8 by 10-foot board mounted on posts, and it like karate chopped through two of them and split them. So that's how heavy this branch weighed coming down, was enough to split these boards. The pasture rails is basically what it is around the horse pasture out there. Split two of them, and cat goes off running. Now it's dark out there, daylight savings times. My wife's out there, daylight saving time. I forget what the appropriate thing is. So now my wife's out there with her phone, with the flashlight on the phone, looking for the cat, and the cat's scared shitless. She brings her back up to the, because it takes off at the one side of the property. She brings it back up to the pasture gate, and her front arm, front paw, front leg is completely wrecked. I mean, it's sitting there like ticker tape, just flopping. And I'm like, all right, take her to the emergency room. So the emergency room, she gets in the emergency room, and believe me, like I said, we live out in the middle of nowhere. We broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. The next big town over is either Charlotte or Matthews. Matthews is a smaller town, but they still have like a, somewhat of a community over there. At least 10,000 people. So we have about 2,500 people here. So the emergency vet is over in Matthews, which is about 45 minutes away. So my wife is driving, goes to the emergency clinic. They said, we'll let the doctor know that you're coming in. It's usually about a 3-hour wait. 3-hour wait for animal clinic out in the middle of nowhere. So she gets there. Doctor looks at the cat, puts a splint on it, and says, okay, there's a couple things that we can do. We can fix it with surgery, which is, about $5,000. Actually, let me take that back. He said we can fix it with surgery, but we need to know within the next 7 days, because if the bones start calcifying together and they don't fit right, then we need to open her up and do surgery and put plates on her and stuff like that. And, or she's going to be in bad shape. She's going to have this crippled leg that's not healed right, and she's going to be walking with a limp or a club foot or something like that. So my wife's like, all right, how much is that? And they said, well, it starts at about $5,000. $5,000 to put plates and stuff on a broken cat's front leg. I said, my wife's calling me, and I said, you know what? I said, come home. We'll talk to our normal vet in the morning and figure out what's going on. I said, make sure you get pain medication, make sure you get anything, anti-inflammatories, whatever that they need, whatever she needs to make her feel good and get her through the night or get her through the next couple of days. She comes home. It's about 11:30 at night. So we've been going at this since 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My wife's now getting home from this whole day of debacle and coming home at 12 o'clock at night. Of course, now she can't sleep. My wife can't sleep because she's worried about the cat. So the next morning she wakes up after, pardon the pun, cat napping in between, her meowing and moving around. My wife probably got, as anyone would that's worried about someone, got minimal sleep that night. Calls our vet, says, can you bring him in today? We'll look at it. We'll go ahead and look at her. So my wife goes, can you bring her up? Or I'll bring her up. Meaning my wife will bring her up. She goes up there because she's got the question bin ready to go. She gets up there that afternoon, and they said, okay, we'll look at her, leave her overnight, and we'll decide on or see how she's doing or what's going on. So my wife comes home. Next morning, we get a phone call. The doctor says, well, you have two options, basically. Because of the break and where it is, yes, it is a $5,000 to do the surgery to put these rods and brackets in her forearm. It's her front right paw, right arm. It's $5,000 to do that. Or we could amputate it. And the amputation's like $800. So you have to sit there and you're looking at this cat that we got from the Humane Society, this rescue. You pay $125 and they spay and neuter it. And then you go, okay, $5,000, and the cat's, I think, 2 years old. So it's not like it's, 15 years old, it's getting ready to die. So $5,000 to have the doctor go in there and put these brackets on, and it might have an okay life, or $800, remove the whole entire arm, leg from the animal, and she'll be fine. Like nothing ever happened, but she will only have one paw in the front. And so my wife's looking at me like, what should we do? And I'm like, look, babe, I said, I know a lot of three-legged dogs. I know a lot of three-legged animals. I don't know of a three-legged cat. But I think we should go for the amputee because the $5,000 surgery is not guaranteed. There still could be problems later on. There could be an infection. There could be something in the metal plates and all. I'm trying to give her justification as far as not making us feel good, but making us feel better about removing the cat's leg. So she's like, okay. I said, but when you get up there, I'm going to let you make that decision. So she goes up there and she calls me one more time. I'm like, yes. I said, quality of life, I think the amputated leg would be better than having her, 6 weeks of rehab. And who knows if it's going to take or if there's going to be any problems. And then what happens after that? Then you have to remove the leg. I said, babe, go ahead. I said, I'm okay with it. Removing the leg. And so that's what we did. We removed the cat's leg. She just came home. Actually today, this morning. I'm a little late starting the show. I apologize for everyone that didn't get us last week, and now we're even late this week. So these are the things that have been going on. I mean, this is true to life stuff. I don't make a lot of this stuff, but I mean, this is part of what DeaconLive is. It's a podcast for news stories and stuff and things that are going on in and around my life that are somewhat true and hard to believe at times. But yeah, so the cat came home today. I went and picked her up this morning. She's fine. She's a little woozy from the medication. She's learning. She gets about 3 steps and then falls. She's about 3 steps, hops, and then falls. But she's still a little woozy. So the cat's home. Everyone's home. And so that's what happened last week. We were in the middle of, I was getting ready to do the show, prepping and everything the day before, and this happened. So this is what I've been dealing with, not dealing with, but, you know, trying to manage for the last 5 days or so. So I apologize for last week's show not being on the air, but you can see, hopefully I don't want to say it's a good reason, but this is exactly what was happening. And I didn't feel that I could give you the quality of product last week dealing with this whole situation. Tragic situation that happened here on the property. I know I was talking about a couple other things here on the podcast. I know there was a couple other things I teased at the beginning. Hold on, this is going to take off here in a minute. I know I teased at the top of the show about a couple other things that we were going to get into, but I don't feel like getting into those right now. So I apologize. If you want to know what they are, Subway is creating a grab and go food thing, and they're finding out that rats can dance to music. They like music for some reason or whatever. But anyway, so that's what happened, and I appreciate everyone that's reached out to us. We'll be fine. It's not like, you know, we're looking for any kind of sympathy or anything. I'm just letting you know what happened here on the property. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to doing what you got to do. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on your social media pages. And make sure, if you'd like to contact us and be part of the show, go over to Prophet Radio, click on Be Heard. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll play it, your voice, right here on the air with us on the very next podcast as well. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to enjoying the rest of your day. You're listening to... All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to doing what you got to do. My name is the Deacon, saying good night and good night.
Wait, come back.
This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.